Hello everyone, Mege here, and today's video is about the customization options of my heroes. I've decided to make an updated guide of all of my heroes' customization options and compile them all in one single video. I will have timestamps in the description below, so you can look at that if you're interested in one single hero specifically. Let's start right away with Warden, my main hero. Alright, so my Warden, let's start with the left panel, customizing panel. His gender is male, skin color doesn't really matter with this setup, but is light. As for the head, we have no paint pattern, no symbol, and no embossing. In case you don't know, I really like the simplicity of the design most of the time. I don't like over-designed stuff. His ornament is my trusty dragon, has been like this forever. I have a thing for dragons, you know, I really like dragons, so as soon as this released, I went for it. It does look a little goofy, I guess. Before the dragon, I was using the fleur-de-lis, which I think works just as well, but the dragon is just special to me by now. The shoulders are the same, no paint pattern, no symbol and no embossing. As you can see, left shoulder is the same. I used to have the rose engraving on the shoulder, but I feel like, you know, it just clutters it, and I don't really like it visually. Material is of course black iron, in case you don't know, is on the bottom right. You can see it's unlocked at Reputation 7 level 20, which is pretty much Reputation 8. As for the back, I have the Deep Valley paint pattern. You can't get it now if you don't have it, because this was unlocked, I believe, either as a pre-order thing, or more likely, I think this was the Season 1 Season Pass. So Deep Valley, I like it, because it keeps mostly the black, you know, it's just those little stripes down there that changes. Paint pattern is Deep Valley, no symbol, no embossing, and the standards are the same. Paint pattern is Deep Valley, no symbol, no embossing. I used to use, instead of Deep Valley, I used to use, let me find it real quick, this one, Skewed Verticals, because they work pretty well with the other chest piece I was using on the standards. With this one though, they're kinda, you know, they're misaligned compared to the standards themselves, so that's why I skipped them. Colors, and this is going to be, I'm not saying standard, but you'll see this colors combination with a lot of my heroes. Neutral, I have Bleeding for the full black look. Red Dusk for attackers, and Queenly for defenders. Now onto the armor itself. The helmet is the Fendril helm. I've been using this forever. I really like the T-shaped visor, let's say. I feel like it's a great helmet, really cool. There were some other helmets that released, but I think no one really fares well enough against this. But then again, of course, this is my own personal opinion. The chest piece and the arms are both from the Vengeful Instigator armor set, which was unlocked during the, you could loot it during the Apollion's event pretty much 1 year ago by now. So sadly, if you didn't loot it back then, you cannot use them. Instead of this, you can always go for what I was using before this. For the chest piece, there is not really much you can do actually, because this is the only chest piece with a black chainmail. You see it's black right here, and most importantly, the trousers, let's say the pants of Warden, you can't really see them, but they're grey instead of the usual weird green olive, you see, or let's say more like light brown. So yeah, this is super cool. And as for the arms, again, this is the only arms with a black chainmail. You see, this light chainmail. Oh, sorry. Light chainmail here as well. These do have black chainmail, so I think it looks very cool, very edgy, which is of course what I'm going for. And of course you could go for the normal spiked arms, which are the Mirror P arms. I mean, they're not too different, and they work just as well. The sword, so this is a pretty recent sword. I usually don't dig gold too much on swords, but as you can see, these armor sets kind of forces you, because you know there's gold details on the shoulders. And so I was like, okay, let's go for gold for the sword. So I'm using the Awakening Nightmare Blade, again from the Apollion's event. I like the fact that the blade itself is of a darker gray. You know, it's not really a metal, let's say. Why is it not? Okay. Like this, you know. It's pretty dark. And I like the shape overall. Before this, I was using the... it's not really this one, it's actually... this one. Kind of bulky blade. I liked it, don't get me wrong. A little too bulky, maybe, like, look at the sides. It's a little too bulky, not very realistic. I mean, none of this is actually realistic, but hey. I'm using the Health Champion Hilt because I feel like it works very well with all of this, you know, red and black and gold details. This one is new and is not too bad. I just don't think the silvers really work. And lastly, the Camulus Guard, because I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a dragon or a ball or something, you know, like a devil. But in my opinion, it resembles the dragons well enough. So I'm like, hey, kind of fits with the dragon theme, you know, from the helmet. It also fits very well with the color. I don't like the blue gems too much, but you can barely see them, you know, they're there, but again, really barely seeable. And that's it for my Warden. Let's take a good look at him. Moving on to Conqueror. My Conqueror, again, most of my heroes are going to be super edgy looking, stuff like that. Don't be, I mean, I'm sure you won't be surprised, right? So, traits, gender male, skin color, again, doesn't really care, but it's light. Chest and back. So, I'm using the Deep Valley, again, paint pattern. It's a little weird, I won't lie, because it looks kind of like this, you know, it's kind of in a weird spot. But then again, I feel like it's still like the best one. I like how it looks on the back mostly, sorry. You see? So that's my main reason for using it. On the front, it looks a little weird, but then again, Conqueror is all hunched over, and you also check him out from the back most of the time. No symbol, no embossing. Ornament is again dragon looking, even though this is a wyvern actually, but yeah, dragon like. And the name is Golden Legend. Right shoulder. It should be the same as the left shoulder. No paint pattern, no symbol, no embossing. Same here. Nothing. Material is, of course, black iron. Standards use this vertical halves, which is unlocked right away. See? No symbol and no embossing. The left arm, which is basically the shield, uses no paint pattern, no symbol, and the rose embossing. This is unlocked by completing the night story on realistic. And I like it because, you know, you can't really see the rose with this shield, and I like the little, let's say, background to the skull, you know. Without this, it looks kind of plain in my opinion. And as for colors, again, bleeding for neutral, red dusk for attackers, and queenly for defenders. Now, onto the armor pieces themselves. I'm using the jewel helm. I don't really like, I know there is a specific term for this kind of hat-like, let's say, helmets for Conqueror. I don't really like them myself though, and I don't really like this one that shows his skin. So, this is one of the best in my opinion. The jewel helm. Medium chest. This is not event, so you can loot it. Medium chest. And Aldi's arm. So, medium chest is kind of dark looking, that's why I really like it. You know, there's a lot of, the belts are black pretty much, and overall it looks pretty dark. And Aldi's arms, because I like the full covered arms. I don't like, you know, him showing skin, and I don't like the, let's say, clothing of these arms. These have chainmail in them, that's why I really like them. As for the weapon, I went for a simple looking weapon. I have the Hanali head, I'm not sure how you pronounce this. I like the pretty basic but still bulky look. The Cordelia handle, and I feel like the spike at the bottom kind of resembles the head, you know, so I feel like it's a good combination. And the arm shield, because it looks very edgy. I might don't mind the engraving now, the embossing, it looks kind of weird. I wouldn't have minded this one, because it's sort of a dragon, would have fit with the theme, but I just cannot dig the slightly gold border on the shield. I feel like it just doesn't work. So here is my Conqueror. Moving on, it's PK, which I really recently changed up a lot. One of the heroes I revamped quite a bit since my last video. So she's a female, of course, and light skin color. If you're wondering why I always go for light skin color, it's because my skin is light as well, I guess, so I kinda always go for that one. So, paint pattern for the chest and back is the Valley. You can't really see it, it looks a little weird, you know, it is a little weird because it's like this too starts from here actually. And I feel like it works very well, kinda fits with this little triangle up here as well, as a theme, as a visual thing, let's say. On the front, you can't really see it at all. No symbol, and no embossing. No ornament. I used to use like this for PK, but I feel like ornaments just look so out of place on a hood, to be honest. So I never really went for one that really convinced me. Shoulders should be the same. I have the shallow valley, which is different from the deep valley actually. It's unlocked the same way though, just like the deep valley. I think this was season pass for season 1. I like how it works here, because you see it's it kind of only covers this last part of the shoulder. And something I don't really like sometimes is like something like this. I feel like it looks a little dumb that someone would paint it like this from one of these parts to the other. This one I feel like it's more clean and better looking, but that's sort of a thing of mine, So yeah, shallow valley, no symbol, no embossing. Left shoulders, it's horizontal halves, because it works. It's one solid color from the top and another solid color for the bottom, as you can see, with horizontal halves. So that's what I'm using. This is unlocked reputation 8, actually quite far. No symbol, no embossing. Material is, of course, it's called black iron, but this is basically black leather. For our standards, I'm using the vertical line paint pattern unlocked pretty early on in reputation 1, which gives this, this look in the middle and in the back. I like it. No symbol, no embossing. As for legs, no paint pattern, no symbol, no embossing. Feel like it's a little dumb to have like embossing on boots or paint patterns. And colors, this is one of the few heroes where I'm not using bleeding. As for the neutral color, I'm using the war color, which was unlocked during the Napoleon's event. Again, this is, instead of being both primary and secondary color black, this one has like a dark gray as a secondary color, and I like it. I feel like it works pretty well. And attackers is again Red Dusk, defenders is royal instead of queenly, but it doesn't make much of a difference, to be honest, because I'm not using how do you say it? Sorry, symbol. Now on to the armor pieces themselves. I'm using the Pensive Rose Elm. I like this flower theme on the helm. Let's call it elm, even though it's a hood. And I think it works very well, even though it's from a different set, with the flower themes on the Weeping Effigy arms, you see? They're from different sets, but they work very well together in my opinion. So Weeping Effigy arms and Pensive Rose chest. Again, flower theme in the middle. It's kind of hard to see, to be honest, but it's there. As for the weapon, I'm using the Darren Blade because I really like the black looking blade. I hardly think I'm gonna ever change this one up. Lightning and Thunder Hilt, although I might change this at some time. I'm still unsure, to be honest. I haven't looted the new one for the event, for the Black Prior event yet. I might use that one instead, I'm not sure. But yeah, Lightning and Thunder Hilt looks pretty well, the gold looks well with the rest of the gold details on the PK herself. And the Screaming Agony Dagger, this one was unlocked during the Apollion's event. Let's take a look at her. Now on to Lawbringer, Low Daddy here, which I changed up a lot. I don't think there is a single piece of equipment which is the same compared to how my Lawbringer used to look back in the day. So starting off is of course a male, and skin color is light, again doesn't really show anywhere for Lawbringer. Helmet, again no paint pattern, no symbol, no embossing. Some people might be tempted to get for this embossing, but I just don't like how it doesn't cover all of it. It looks weird because on the side it stops. And it's So yeah, no embossing, nothing. Simple helmet. No ornament. I used to use this one. Feel like it looks a little dumb with this helmet though. I don't know, I like the clean look, to be honest. I know there is a dragon themed ornament. Like this is Hydra looking, and this one as well, kinda, or this. I just feel like this one looks like just too out of place. I don't like it, honestly. Shoulders are the same. Nothing, nothing, and nothing. So again, no paint pattern, no symbol, no embossing. Material is, of course, black iron. Chest and back, I'm using no paint pattern, no symbol, no embossing. Again, simple looking. And as for colors, sorry, no colors, the standards, I'm using the skewed verticals, works very well. Doesn't work too well with the front, but I don't care because it works very well with the back, you know, the cape. So skewed verticals, again, Season 1 Season Pass. No symbol, no embossing. And as for colors, blading, red dusk, Finley. Now onto the look itself. We have the dignified veneer helm. Looks very cool. I really like the sort of tears looking bolts in the helmet. Tormented Arbiter chest. You can't say no to the cape, right? Tormented Arbiter arms. And as for the weapon, I'm using the ornated throat axe. This new one, is also very cool looking, but since I have gold details on the Lawbringer, you see, I feel like a golden looking weapon works better. Also, the red color here changes depending on your color, so it can also be purple or black with my loadouts. So, ornamented throat axe, Thornspire shaft and Thornspire spike. These both were unlocked as part of the Napoleon's event. Let's take a good look at him. And he looks so cool. Next up, Incredibilis boy. Gender is male, skin color is light. Again, doesn't really make a difference with this helmet because you can't ever see his skin anywhere, sorry, I believe. So left arm, again, very simple, no paint pattern, no symbol, no embossing. I used to have like a paint pattern here, something like this, I believe, or maybe this, I think it was this. But, you know, I was like, hey, I like the simple look, the simple rugged look on that one. No symbol, no embossing, again, and embossing could work here. It's honestly personal preference. Ornament, I'm using the Proud Griffon. I really like a plume for Centurion, and I feel like this one is the best plume you can get. The Proud Griffon coming with the Questing Knight Elite outfit. Shoulders are the same. I'm using the half and half paint pattern, and this is a weird paint pattern, but I feel like it works very well with this. It almost perfectly splits the shoulders in two, you see? So it's unlocked, by acquiring an outfit, a reputation 6. So it's unlocked a reputation 6. No symbol, no embossing. And again, the same goes here. Half and half, no symbol, no embossing. Material is obviously black iron. The chest is clean, nothing on the chest. Some people like to do this. I feel like it looks a little weird. Because, you know, it's just not everywhere, you know. If it was everywhere on every single piece of the chest, I could go for it. But like this, only on the 6-pack, I feel like it's weird. So yeah, nothing on the chest. Standards, I'm using the Apollon's Legacy paint pattern. I'm not too sold on this, to be honest. I like it, but I'm not too sold on this. And this was unlocked by scavenging the battlefield, as you guessed, on the Apollon's event. No symbol, no embossing. Alright, so I'm not using bleeding with this character in neutral color because I think, where is bleeding? I feel like the black plume just doesn't do this character justice. It looks a little weird. So I'm using red dusk for both attackers and neutral. And defenders, I don't really like all of this gold. I don't think works very well with Finley, or Royal, sorry. Don't dig gold and purple too much. That's why I went for Storm. Okay. Now onto the pieces themselves. This is a pretty basic and unoriginal Centurion, let's say, because a lot of people sport this full set as well. Creta should be the full Creta set. So Creta helm, Creta chest, and Creta arms. Yeah, exactly. I feel like this one is a little too over the top. This is more Avoc-like. And as for the weapon, I have the full Swamp Blade. So Swamp Sword. That's hard to say. So Swamp Blade, Swamp Hilt, and Swamp Guard. Sadly, I do not have the Apollon's event sword for Centurion, but I would be using that one if I had it. And here he is. On to Highlander, a character I have a hard time being satisfied with. Because I really wish he got an armor or sword, but then again, that's who he is, right? He is a Viking, so That's just wishful thinking on my end. And I worked on him a lot, to be honest. So let's start right away. It's a male with light skin color. His left arm, you can see now, it's a Celtic wave paint pattern. Feel like it works pretty well. Compared to Centurion, I did put something on this arm piece. No symbol and no embossing. I used to have like this raven embossing, but I just think embossing looks kind of weird on something that is not metal. Ornament, I have the Grogalt, I think you pronounce it that way, or the big mean horns. I used to have nothing, I believe. I feel like this works pretty well. It's kind of over the top, but then again, Highlander is over the top with his big sword. Shoulders are the same, no paint pattern, no symbol, no embossing. Same goes here. Material is of course again black iron, even though this is again like not iron. I mean, I guess no, actually yeah, it does change the iron as well, like the little buttons or here and there. Chest, no paint pattern, no symbol, no embossing. I just feel like it clutters too much, you know. You already have these bells and these golden buttons, let's say, here and there. And adding more clutter just looks bad in my opinion. Standards, I'm using the Rand 1 paint pattern. I think it looks perfect with this, to be honest. Like, look at this. And it's a locked pretty early reputation 1. No symbol, no embossing. And the colors are Blading, Red Dusk, and Queenly, as usual. Now, on to the pieces themselves. I really don't like the weird haircuts for Highlander, like this or this. So I went for this one, the Lata Helm. Even though some people might think this is like a cook or a shower cap or something. I really like it. It reminds me of, I can't remember the name in English, but some sort of military back in the Renaissance era. So yeah, I feel like it looks cool. As for the chest, we have the Dreadful Exodus chest. This was unlocked as part of the Apollion's event. And the Thethra arms. The sword itself has been through so many redesigns, to be honest. I decided to go for some sort of, you guessed it, dragon look in a way. So I went for this sword. It's not really dragon looking at all as far as the blade goes, but I feel like the shape itself and the golden details on the middle works well with the rest of the sword. Oh, also keep in mind the middle section changes color with the color you are at the moment, so it goes to red and purple as well. The hilt feel like sort of reminds me, the names, right? Boisterous Houndblade and the Death Pitch hilt. I don't think this is from the Apollion's event. I don't think so. I'm not sure though. Regardless, this kinda looks like dragonish looking to me. Like, I know it's not, it really doesn't have anything to it, but the shape itself, the pattern itself, somehow reminds me of scales, you know? So that's why I like it. And I also think the golden details work well with the rest of the sword and the Sturworm guard. Again, dragon looking. I like the fact it's kind of short for a guard for my liking. Like, I like, you know, bigger guards like this. But then again, that's what I decided to go for eventually. So let's take a good look at him. And lastly, my Kensei, gender male, skin color light, as usual. So my paint patterns for my Kenseis are mostly aimed at not being too visible. Because, you know, this Kensei, we'll go into the armor details later, but there is already a lot of clutter. You know, all of these golden spikes add a lot of visual clutter. So obviously, I don't want to go for even more clutters with symbols and stuff like that. So as for the chest, the paint pattern is the concave lines, you can barely see it, you see? That's why I like it. No symbol, no embossing. Even though there is a dragon embossing and you were like, hey, dragon embossing, why not dragon, Mege? Because it just looks bad, you know, look at that. You can barely make out it's a dragon in the first place. Ornament, of course, dragons actually. It's the Raging Hydra ornament unlocked with the Pit Viper mythic outfit. I really like this ornament a lot. The shoulders are the same, paint pattern is the double sabers. I like how, you see, it kind of starts from this and then goes through both of this, in a way. So I like this one. Double sabers unlocked level 6, reputation 0. No symbols, no embossing. Left shoulder is the same. Material is of course black. Oh, it's not black iron this time. Okay, yeah, it's black wood, I would say. The back is using the owl head paint pattern. Weird name. And as you can see, it's barely visible as well. Again, you could go, hey, let's add a dragon there. Yeah, and it's pretty much invisible because there is a ribbon of swords and it just adds clutter. As for the standards, I'm using the parted ferns. I'm not sure what that even means for the standards. Again, not too cluttery. It's still a samurai, so I still wanted it to be somehow flashy. Parted ferns. Unlocked a reputation 0 level 1, so right away. No paint pattern. No, sorry, no symbol, no embossing. Colors are blading, red dusk, and you guessed it. Oh, actually it's royal, not... I'm not sure why it's royal instead of queenly, but they're pretty much the same. Moving on to the armor itself. So as I mentioned, both the chest and the arms are the Airi set. So they have this sort of dark look with golden spikes. The helmet is the Ginkei helm. There is some similar looking helmet, like the Airi helmet itself, for example. But the mask is red and I don't dig it too much. Or, this one is also very valid, because the back of the helmet becomes metal, so it becomes darker. But overall, I don't really like this mask too much, and I like this. I think this one is more menacing, and also, it has these golden details here, like at the side of the helmet, which works well with the rest of the set. So yeah, Ginkei helm. As for the weapon, I'm using the full Masamune sword, so Masamune blade, which you can't really see. It's very hard to make out, but this is a little, I think, like stretched dragon. So yeah, Masamune blade. Masamune hilt, again a dragon, which works, I think, very well with the rest of the dragon theme on his ornament. And Masamune guard. And this is how it looks overall. The only thing I'm sort of unsatisfied with would be this orange, let's say, pattern here on the pants, but it's very hard to get something better, to be honest. And somehow it works with the golden details. If it was a little lighter, it would be better. Alright, that's it for this video. I didn't include heroes I play now and then, like for example Black Prior, cause he's still rep 3 and I haven't gotten any fashion down as him. Or Nobushi, like I gotten some sort of fashion as Nobushi down, but it's nothing special. I just, went for this very simple look. So, stuff like that. I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know if you like this customization, if you're gonna use any of this, or maybe give a spin to them and, make them yours. I hope you did enjoy the video and the customization. I will see you all next time as usual. Have a good day.